Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And a few days ago, I decided to make a poll on Twitter asking you guys if T-Mobile needed to be coverage king or if they just needed to become stronger competition-wise in the urban-suburban levels. So a few of you guys voted, and it was kind of a back and forth early on. And then the poll ended up being 52% say T-Mobile needed to be coverage king. 48% said that they just needed to become better at the urban-suburban level. So I wanted to kind of elaborate a little more on that in this video. And the reason I wanted to elaborate is because I was part of a thread and we were kind of going back and forth on how should T-Mobile position themselves for the next 5 years. They got spectrum that they're going to need to monetize because it's going to be a large investment that investors are going to want to see a return on investment. Are they necessarily going to win by trying to change the perception that they have the same coverage as AT&T and Verizon? No, that's not going to work, because if customers do switch for that purpose and they see that it's not there, they're going to automatically switch back. So that's not going to work for them. It is the obvious that T-Mobile is still the smaller network. There's no other way to say it. Again, not bashing T-Mobile. You got to call it how it is. And even though after the merger, they became a bigger company with more subscribers, but they have the far smaller network. That is still the case. And then there's another category. How does that network perform in terms of coverage? So there's quality of coverage, and then there's coverage. So T-Mobile does have coverage in a lot of areas, but once you get further away from the site and they don't have additional sites built, then they start pushing the sites to the limits. And then once you get to the edge of the cell sites, you turn to fair coverage, and then it's kind of 50-50 with T-Mobile. You either drop to no service, or the service is so weak that you can't make calls, or the data connection is not strong. So that's kind of where T-Mobile is right now, because they've had to cut corners for so long because they haven't been able to fully invest to the spending levels of AT&T and Verizon for years now. So just because they can maybe get close to the spending levels on wireless as the big two now doesn't automatically mean that they're going to overnight become coverage king, or ever for that matter, because AT&T and Verizon have been spending more for decades. They have been spending more. And then if T-Mobile does get within a certain range of coverage or get inches closer, then Verizon and AT&T are just going to pull inches further away, because they're already expanding into new markets and new areas that they previously didn't cover. And right now, I can guarantee you T-Mobile is not as invested in the coverage expansion versus AT&T. AT&T is going all out on the coverage expansion. It's a government subsidized contract with FirstNet. They're getting reimbursements. So that coverage expansion is insane. From what I've seen, it's going to even increase next year. So it increased in 18, 19. We saw it really materialize in 20. But now 2021 and 2022, it's going to be absolutely insane, the size that AT&T has taken this network to. And some of the expansion is per the contract that they signed with FirstNet. So they're completely expanding outside of the footprint that they previously covered. Completely. They're going to cover areas that Verizon doesn't cover. So that's where they're taking it to. There is no way, how large the integration is at the urban and suburban levels for T-Mobile, there's no way that they're going to be focused on that large of an expansion that early. So as the years go by, 21, 22, 23, 24, T-Mobile is going to fall behind additionally. Verizon's not standing still, although Verizon is not that focused on coverage right now. but they're not standing still either. Where they have to make tweaks here and there, they will eventually get to it. If they need to plug in a site to fill in density along a coverage stretch because there's congestion, or they don't like the coverage that they're covering because one tower is pushing too far, they will start filling those in. And that's where quality comes in. So T-Mobile is, although we need them to compete, but T-Mobile will not get to those levels yet. That's going to take maybe even a decade for them to really figure out, okay, we need to fill this in. How long is it going to take? Do we have money? So that's going to take them a while to get there. Yes, they have a long contract with American Tower. They got Crown Castle. They could bring others on board. It's going to take them a while just to build the 15,000 sites additionally that they want to build. That's going to definitely take them a while. So do they necessarily have to become coverage kings? In my opinion, I'm going to say no, because as long as they compete where it matters the most, which is at the suburban and urban levels where most of the traffic accumulates, their business structure, the way it's set, will be fine. They never fully competed in the rural areas to begin with, so those customers are not with them. They're with AT&T and Verizon. It's always been a two-option race in most of those counties in the rural communities. So T-Mobile entering those areas, they would be new to the market, so they would have to grab mind share. They would have to penetrate the market with retail, followed by the network. So there's several different steps to go about it, and they don't right now, still in 2020, have the perception. So there's many other levels to gaining monetization. There's business, there's enterprise. T-Mobile is not competing in those segments right now, not because they don't want to. I just don't think they're not fully capable, but it's just the network is just not 100% there yet, and they may risk on selling up on cancellation in terms of churn outs, the business customer leaving. So they're more comfortable competing for the small business customer because it's a cheaper cost, and the small business customer may put up with a worse service depending because of pricing and value. So if I would have saw this question or this poll on somebody else's page, I would have selected the urban suburban because that's where most of the traffic is for T-Mobile, and they can still pull and grab from the big two to grow in those markets in the next 5 years. I would say the coverage will expand. It will get better, but it is going to take time for T-Mobile. It is 100% going to come with time. There is no amount of money that T-Mobile has where they can prioritize all of their businesses. And what I mean businesses, I'm talking about the coverage, the integration, and then still having to spend to remodel stores, and then add stores, and then operate the fiber. I mean, it's all money. It's a big investment that they're going to have to slowly, over time, really become efficient to do it the right way, especially the sites that they're upgrading now where they're ripping out the complete baseband units, putting in new ones. It's a slow progress, but that is T-Mobile showing that they are doing it the right way this time around. They're ripping and replacing fully. That means they're going virtual. The BBUs, everything is going to be better in the future. That'll make their network more reliable. That means backup generators are coming. Calling will get better that way. But that is going to take time to see that massive overhaul across the United States. And then I'm sure they still have sites out there that are running T1 backhaul. So there's several steps that T-Mobile will have to go through in the future. And what the additional CapEx does, it accelerates the process. So it's not going to go as slow as it did when they were a standalone, but it is also not going to be something that's going to happen within a week. So just keep that in mind. I just want to kind of elaborate my point on this poll. So they don't have to be coverage kings because they don't compete. They don't have that perception anyway right now. And them being the smaller carrier with the smaller network is the obvious. You just can't expect them to be better because they just didn't invest that amount of money. They always spent the lowest. Yes, in some areas, they may have better coverage. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying on the larger scale across the U.S., the entire geographical footprint, T-Mobile has the smaller network. So you are more likely to run into no service areas with T-Mobile than you are on AT&T and Verizon. It's just a fact that is more likely to happen. So let me know what you think about this. This video is a bit longer than I anticipated. I just wanted to get this out there. I think it was a great question for them to compete and be the company that they are. They really necessarily don't have to be the coverage king short term. So again, if you are new to the channel or have been on the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you haven't, hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload the content. Also follow the social media outlets for more interactions like the poll on the Twitter. The videos are going up there. Instagram pictures are going up of the N41 rollout. I'll probably be out this weekend checking for more sites. I haven't been able to get out there, but this weekend I'll probably make time for that. So stay tuned. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.